Welcome everybody. Today I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide to expired listings. This is one of my absolute favorite sources of business. Expired listings are not only easier to secure than a for sale by owner, but they're also the fastest way to land an immediate listing. These are high impact calls because you're reaching out to homeowners who already want to sell. Now in fact, 40 to 50% of expired listings go back on the market within just 72 hours. It's a gold mine of opportunity. So let's dive in and break down exactly how to capitalize on it. Expired listings are an absolute gold mine in my opinion. But to start successfully listing them, there are some key things you need to remember. Look, the most important factor is urgency. So when calling a new expired listing, timing is everything. A new expired means that the listing expired today. By tomorrow, it's no longer new. That's why it's crucial to reach out as early as possible. So how early should you call? Well, check with your broker and follow their advice on that. But keep in mind, the sooner the better. Acting fast gives you the best chance to really land the listing before someone else does. The sooner you're gonna call, the higher the chance of setting an appointment and actually landing a listing that same day. It's not just about calling early, guys. It's also about scheduling appointments with urgency. Now, if you wanna wait till 11 a.m. to reach out, you're already too late, guys. By then, expired listings are being bombarded from calls from all your competition. By late morning, two things have likely happened. One, the seller has already scheduled 1 or 2 or even 3 appointments with other agents. Or 2, you've lost the opportunity to be the first one to make the best impression on them. So act fast, call early, and schedule that appointment as soon as possible before your competition does. Now, expired listings, they're gonna get bombarded with calls one after another until many sellers, what do? They stop answering altogether. And I hear agents say all the time, I call expires, but they never answer. My question is, what time are you calling them? To maximize your chances, check with your broker and call as early as possible. But don't stop there. If you don't reach them in the morning, well then call them in the afternoon, somewhere between 1 and 3 p.m. Still no answer? Guys, try them again in the early evening between 6 and 8. Here's the key. The key is persistence. Keep calling throughout the day to increase your chances of actually getting through, especially on the day that they expired. Now, mornings are usually your best shot at actually setting the appointment with the seller and actually securing a listing. But here's the key. Consistency is everything. You can't just call expires once a week and expect results. Please remember, 40 to 50% of expired listings relist within 72 hours. And if you wait too long, well, actually, you're missing out on the opportunity. And I hear agents say, I don't have that many expireds, so I just accumulate them and call them once a week. Well, that doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. Whether you have 1, 10, or 100, you need to call every single day. New expireds get flooded with calls because agents know how valuable they are. And if you want to compete and win, well, then you have to show up consistently. Expired listings, they're the hottest source of landing an immediate listing. It's the easiest and fastest way to get a new client, which is why more agents that I know call expired listings than for sale by owners. But here's the thing. Not all expired listings are equal. Older expired listings might be a good lead source, but they're nowhere near as valuable as a new expired. That's why competition is fierce. Every agent knows this. So with all these amazing agents calling, how are you planning on standing out? You can't sound like everyone else, right? Too many agents call with the same generic, oh hi, this is Jack with AY2Z Realty. That approach won't cut it anymore. To win in this game, you need to grab their attention from the start. Now, let's talk about how do we do that. So guys, how do we stand out? Well, it's gonna start with high energy, confidence, and a powerful, effective script. But here's the key. It's not just what you say. Guys, it's how you say it. Your tone, your delivery, your presence on the call really matters even more than actually the words themselves. Look, when a homeowner actually picks up the phone, they're not just listening to what your pitch is, they're actually feeling your confidence. Expired sellers want one thing, agents. They want agents who can make them believe that their home can sell quickly and for top dollar. If you can actually project that with certainty, you're instantly separating yourself from all your competition. Now, let's dive into exactly how we do that and what we have to say. Expired sellers don't just want their home sold for the highest price possible. We've always heard that. They want it done with the least amount of hassle. Guys, they've already wasted 6 or 8 months on the market, and now they're being bombarded with calls from agents who all sound the exact same way. If you want to win that listing, well, then you have to stand out. When you do that, you'll be the one setting the appointment and taking the listing. So here's the reality when you're calling in a new expired. You only have a few seconds to actually engage them. Now, if you don't grab their attention immediately, guys, well, then you lost them. Expireds hang up on agents much faster than for sale by owners do. You know, at least a for sale by owner will stay on the phone, ask you a few questions, ask you if you have a buyer, or even offer to pay you commission if you bring them a buyer. Expireds, they don't have the patience. If you don't hook them fast, well, they're gone. So how do you keep them on the phone and book that appointment? All right, guys, are you ready? I'm gonna break it down for you. With expired listings, you have a split second to actually engage them. Now, if you don't, the opportunity is gone. That's why I'm going to give you the 5 crucial points to engage expireds in conversation so you can set that appointment, meet them in person, and secure that listing. The first thing is you need to mimic and match your seller. Look, people feel comfortable talking to others who actually sound like they do. You've probably experienced this yourself. You know, when you get a call from some telemarketer or you're in a rush, but they sound slow and scripted, well, you immediately tune out, and what do? Hang up. The same thing happens when you're talking to expireds. If they're speaking fast and sound frustrated, you need to match and pace their tone. If they're calm, reserved, well, then mirror their energy. It's simple, guys, but powerful way to build instant rapport and keep them on the phone long enough to actually, book that appointment. Let's move on to the next key point. Imagine you're busy, you're doing something super important, and you answer the phone. And the person on the other line says, "Hello, this is Jerry, I'm a local real estate agent." Well, how does that make you feel, guys? You know, chances are you're thinking, who is this person? You're talking too slow, you sound robotic, and it's just frustrating. You think, I don't have time for this. What do you want from me? And what do? Well, you hang up. But now picture this on the opposite. You're at home relaxed and you answer the phone and this, "Hey, how you doing? This is Jerry, I'm a local real estate agent." Instantly, you feel nervous and skeptical. Who is this person? I don't trust them, and goodbye. The point is, people like talking to people who sound like them. And if you can match their energy and their tone, you instantly build rapport and make them feel more comfortable and more important. People actually like to talk to others who sound like themselves. Guys, that's why it's important. Mimicking and matching is key. You need to match the rate of speech, volume, and emotion. Now, a lot of expireds, especially the new ones, well, what do? They sound frustrated, they're angry, even hostile. And honestly, you cannot blame them. They've wasted 6 months trying to sell their home. And now their phone is ringing off the hook with all these agents. You need to match that emotion, but not in a way that makes you sound angry at them. Instead, you want to match their frustration in a way that shows empathy and understanding. If you don't, they'll just hang up on you just like that. So repeat, approve, and validate their emotions. Now, when you mimic and you match correctly, you're not going to be doing this for the entire call. Just the first few seconds until you feel comfortable, which will then make them feel comfortable with you. Now, once you've established this rapport with one another, you can take the lead in the conversation by repeating, approving, and actually validating. When you repeat, approve, and validate, it's not just about saying, "Great, excellent, fantastic," which many agents always have the habit of doing. Guys, that's just surface level validation. Effective repeating and approving really goes deeper. It's about acknowledging their feelings and validating their experience that they had. For example, if an expired says, "I'm so frustrated, I've been trying to sell for months with 0 luck," you might respond with, "I completely understand. That must be incredibly frustrating, especially after all the efforts you put in." Now, this shows empathy. It makes them feel heard. That's how you build trust and create a meaningful conversation. Now, there are plenty of scripts out there that you can simply teach you to say approval words like great, excellent, awesome. But this approach is totally ineffective. You know, the real purpose of repeating, approving, and validating is actually to make the person on the other line feel like you're genuinely listening to them. Now, if you truly are interested in understanding where they're coming from, just saying great and then jumping into another question, well, that doesn't make anybody feel heard, listened, or even understood. If they don't feel like you're truly paying attention to them, guess what? They won't be listening to you either. So the goal is to make them feel like you're truly hearing them, hearing their frustrations and experiences. And when they feel understood, that's when you can lead the conversation and set the appointment. Now, you might be thinking, oh great, then I don't need to use a script at all. I don't like using scripts anyways. Guys, that's not what I'm saying. In fact, what I'm saying, using a powerful, effective script is crucial. It's what will make the difference in your success. But here's the key. It's how you're going to deliver that script. The goal isn't to read the script word for word. Instead, you need to internalize it so you can deliver it naturally, powerful, and effectively. That's when all the magic happens. So use the script, but don't sound scripted. The goal is to internalize it, own the script, so it doesn't come out across as robotic or forced, but instead, when you're reading a script word for word, like, hi, my name is Jackie, you sound scripted, and that's ineffective. Now, you must speak with confidence. Why? Because that's exactly what inspired sellers are looking for. They want an agent who represents certainty and assurance. But guys, don't confuse confidence with being overly energetic or happy. You're still matching their energy and leading the conversation, but you need to be assertive. That doesn't mean being pushy or aggressive, but instead, rather taking control of the conversation in a way that makes them feel more comfortable with you right from the start for you to sell their home. They're not going to list with someone who lacks confidence. No, they need you to project it, your tone, your words, and your delivery. So when you sound unsure or wishy-washy, like you're scared to speak with them, it instantly undermines your credibility. Instead, put yourself in their shoes. They've already wasted the time. Now they're frustrated and they want somebody like you, an agent who will lead them through this amazing process. Someone who can say, I know what I'm doing. This is the path to take and this is how we're going to do it and get it done. Now, let's make it happen. Look, expired sellers really need to feel like you genuinely are interested in them and you're really concerned about helping their situation. Many times people don't respond to your questions because you don't sound like you actually care about them. Now, if you approach the conversation with authentic interest, they'll feel that and it'll make them feel more open to talking and trusting you. Make it clear that you're really concerned about helping them sell their home and you're ready to take action on their behalf, not on yours. And when you ask the question, and the person on the other end is thinking, why should I answer this? Well, then you sound like you just don't care. Then you've lost their attention. So make it clear that you want to know. When you ask a question, show that you're invested in getting the answer from them. And my final thought, your mindset really matters. Here's the most important takeaway. Always remember your mindset on every single call. Your goal is not to make a contact or generate leads. It's not about making calls for an hour. Your goal is to set an appointment. Now, I've heard many real estate agents say, I just want to make calls to see what happens. Guys, what's that? That's not winning. That's not a winning mindset. Every call should be about getting a goal of setting an appointment, because that's how you move forward. Get listings and actually close deals. Now, in my coaching career, I've heard it all when it comes to expired listings. I'm not lowering my price. I don't want to set this appointment. They're overpriced, they're crazy. Many agents get stuck in this mindset, thinking it's a waste of time. But here's the honest truth. 40 to 50% of expireds relist within 72 hours. Expireds are a gold mine if you know how to have a powerful pricing conversation that really helps them understand why their property needs to be priced correctly in order to sell. This conversation isn't just about telling them that their price is wrong, it's about guiding them to actually see the logic about pricing their property to meet the market. And when you approach the right way, well, you can set the appointments and secure listings even when the price isn't where they expect it to be. Pricing discussions happen at the listing appointment and never ever on the phone. Never get into pricing on the call. That's for a face-to-face when you can actually have a real conversation about their property. Now guys, that wraps it up for this video on expireds. I believe it's an absolute goldmine and I trust you'll take something out of this, what you learned, and apply it to your business. So if you can go out there and get a listing, that's great to help these sellers really get their home sold. If you've enjoyed my videos, please click the subscribe button, drop me a comment, and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Remember, I'm Jerry Tenenbaum. I'm your go-to for all your real estate coaching, your motivational needs. I want to see you succeed. I'll see you in the next one.